Ocon's taken pole! Ocon's taken pole position! Can you pinch me? Am I still with you?
We all know how crucial qualifying is in Monaco, and what a qualifying session it was on Saturday. Esteban Ocon put in a standout lap time in the Alpine, right up to the barriers, doing a really great job to take provisional pole. Then Leclerc came, took it away. Alonso moved the bar on again in the Aston Martin with a beautiful lap before Max Verstappen, right at the end, just nibbled it away with all the damage coming in the third sector. Came through two sectors, more than 2/10 down. In the end, was nearly a 10th up. So huge damage Verstappen did to Alonso in the final sector. And that's what we're going to look at right now, see how he managed to make it up. And what we know in Monaco, the barriers are close, but the closer you get to them, the quicker you go. It's pretty much as simple as that. You open up the track width and you give yourself more margin to use more speed through the corner. Simple racing lines. And that is what Max does beautifully and with so much commitment in this final sector. I have to say, I think it's the best sector of Monaco I've ever seen. Maybe the best sector of Formula One qualifying I've ever seen. It's that good. So let's pick it up out of to back with Verstappen on the left and Alonso on the right. And we come through, and I'll just pause it, freeze frame through, and you can just see the difference between Alonso, who was driving like a self-proclaimed animal on the day, and he was driving amazingly. This is no slight on Fernando here. He's already up by a good chunk in the first two sectors. So he is doing a superb job. But Verstappen's is just breathtakingly good here. I cannot believe he managed to do this level through this whole sector. But we come up end of to back, and he's right up against the wall. Look at Max there. Right-hand tyre, right up against the wall of Tabac. And Fernando is very close. But there's a little difference there between the two. And this is a running theme then. If we play it through now, we come into the swimming pool. Very quick corner. And again, you see a difference there. Max almost aiming at that barrier. Looks like he's going to hit it from this angle. Fernando's close. But there's a little difference there. And it just means as we play this one through, Fernando takes more curb on this right-hand side as well. Has a little correction of the wheel there, and he's just sort of lost a bit of momentum coming through by, even though the swimming pool is flat out, he's just had to make a little tweak, which can affect your run into the second part of the swimming pool, where again, Verstappen is coming in right from the outside there. He's a little bit behind, so it's not completely like for like here. That's the blue and white logo there. But if you look, Alonso there with small margin between the wall and the tyre, and Verstappen with absolutely no margin at all, really, between that wall and tyre. It's so close, and he's just opening up the entry, but that's not it. We get to the apex, and this is the corner where he made the biggest difference here, Max. Get to the apex, and you've got Fernando there doing a great job right up to the barrier. This is the trickiest corner on the circuit, in my opinion, where we've seen the most incident. Sainz binned it in practice. Leclerc binned it in qualifying a couple of years ago. It's so easy to do because the quickest way is to do as Max is doing. Full lock, aiming towards the barrier on the right-hand side because you know the inertia of the car will just push you round it. Trying to make that calculation in your head as you're flying on a final Q3 lap it's just so difficult. The skill of the driver here is unbelievably through the roof. And again, Fernando's done a good job here. He's right up on that curb. He's getting close. But you can see a very stark difference, pretty much freeze frame together now. And Max is just another step closer to the barrier on the inside. I don't even know. He might have brushed this one as we come through. It's so close. And then we get to the apex. They're both on the apex pretty neatly. And again, on the exit now, look at that. Papers width stuff for Verstappen. Again, I think he probably brushes it on the exit as well. He is larging this. He said he knew he was down coming through two sectors, so he gave it full beans through the final sector. And you can just visibly see it with his lines, literally brushing the Armco barrier on the exit. Again, Fernando's good, but he's just missing that tiny little bit, maybe playing slightly more percentages, having blitzed the first couple of sectors. We come into the final couple of corners now, Rascasse. And here we go again. Max, right up to that logo on the inside. It's a real running theme here. And having this level of consistency to do this corner after corner after corner on a flying lap, narrow streets, heart rate probably about 180 beats per minute right now for these guys. And you can see a big difference here. Fernando's just slightly wider. This one, there's probably the biggest difference coming through Rascasse. Again, on the exit, Max right up against it. Fernando with a little bit more margin. And we get to the final corner. Turn it in. Once again, Max kissing the wall almost on the apex. Fernando slightly wider, gets a straighter run out. And again, look at that from Verstappen. This is a lap of full tilt, loads of risk in here, and right up to the wall, whereas Fernando's got a little bit more margin. Here, actually, I think is probably the slight mistake that he makes on this final sector is actually touching the wall coming out. There's just a little brush of the wall, which is probably a little bit needless right at the end of it, but it's cost him just a tiny bit on the run to the line, just a bit of momentum taken out by a wall strike. You can brush up to them so long as you're running parallel, and that's what's happened with Verstappen. The rest of it is just breathtaking. And that is how, whilst it looked like Fernando had the job done at Aston Martin, they were cheering, they saw the sector times coming in for Verstappen, he was improving but not doing enough. That is how to do a final sector. It deserved pole position. I've never seen anything quite like that, and I've seen so many amazing pole laps. It's fair to say he didn't do the job in the first couple of sectors, so he left some on the table. Maybe not the best lap overall, but certainly the best final sector I've ever seen on this circuit, and it gave Max Verstappen pole position out of the jaws of an Aston Martin grasp.
It's Max Verstappen who breaks Aston Martin hearts and takes pole position away from Fernando Alonso, and it was a supreme final sector.
Well, we needed to pull that one out the bag, but very lovely.
What a last sector, unbelievable. Well done, mate.
Stuff has done you, mate. Sorry, by 800ths.
Yeah, well done, guys. Don't be disappointed. This is magic.